Okay, so we're going to talk a lot about the same run play that we just did, inside zone, and then we're adding the fly motion to this thing. And if you guys got questions, just keep asking, because a lot of times I go through it, just think that everybody ought to know, what I'm thinking, and ask me. That's why we're here. Is if you have any type of questions, fire away. The fly motion was something that we started I was trying to do the fly motion, and I wanted to be a shotgun team solely. And we were trying to run it, and Justin was our guy that would run it. And if the center was off a little bit, you couldn't get it down and go fast enough. And so one day, I was about ready to throw it out. I wanted to run it, but we couldn't get it right. Center wasn't good enough with the snaps all the time. So I was like, man, why don't we just put it in the air? So we just stopped practice, and we did it. Like the first time, it was perfect, and quarterback just put it forward. And if he drops it, it's an incomplete pass, and if he catches it, it's a completed pass. So quarterbacks love it. Hal Mummy loved that when I showed it to him, because he was going to get a pass completion for 2 inches. And so anyway, that's when it started in like 2002, and we started putting that thing in the air. And Justin was really good at it. That's a good trivia question. Justin Gauss is the first guy to ever run the fly sweep, the toss sweep, and then it was made famous when Dana then used it at West Virginia against Clemson with Tavon Austin. But what I found was even better than actually tossing it was using the motion, and it's a big difference between motion and across the center and snapping it before they cross the center, because the defense they're not going to commit to it until you cross the center of what they're going to do with their defense and bouncing their backers, those types of things. So if we started to get some teams that would spin it really, really fast, here comes a fly, they're rolling, then we'd run the return motion and stop him, and then throw the bubble back to where he came from if they rotated too quick. So that's something that you can adjust, but it creates bad eyes, especially if defenses are bouncing backers. They're going to have some issues. Their gap integrity is not going to be great. And because there's a lot of communication, and they're having to bump that thing. Now, the hard part for us is now somebody outside the box could be coming into the box. But what we got to identify is Will and Mike. We're taking care of Will and Mike with the O-line anyway. Identify those guys. Here's the point. And then you got to have a call. We found that you got to have a call. So fly motion's coming this way. You got to have something that tells the O-line it's coming from the right. Okay? We got an inside zone. You got 13, and you tell them that whatever razor, it's coming from the right, and so now that O-line, they know that Will linebacker, if we've got it coming from this way, if we're 2x2, motion into 3x1, then we've got to have the call to tell them it's coming from the left. So this will also force defenses into a one-high secondary, and a lot of times you can get a beat on their coverage, other people have talked about it in their talks. The play action's great, and the play action off of this, with fly motion, what coverage you're pretty much getting. They got to tip their hat, and then if they're just going to sit there and let their backers adjust to it, start handing the damn thing off, because you're going to gash them at some point. Somebody's going to be out of their gap, okay? And there'll be a limited number of ways. You'll know by the second series of what they're doing. Are they trapping the corner? Are they skying the safety? Are they sun? We call it sun if he comes inside the SAM, sky if he comes outside the SAM. If they were trapping the corner to the field or the boundary, and which what safety, how they were rotating it. So you'll have that figured out. Quarterback will have a beat on it. Here's the things that we talked about, and then you're going to get a man ID. They start running across, you'll get a man ID, and that will help on a lot of stuff. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. Throwing this stuff, we were throwing the bubble off this fly motion, and when we ran the fly and threw it, we were 100% over the season, and we averaged 9 yards per attempt, and it's 80% efficient. Well, you could say, well, why didn't you do it more? You're not very smart, because you should have been doing it more. Well, they'll take it away. They'll just flat take it away and have a 3 for 2 or a 4 for 3 or whatever it is, and you're not going to get it. But when we did get it, throwing it out there, it was pretty efficient. Okay, here's what we're talking about. We're starting in 2x2, flying across. Safety's they're gonna rock it down. He's gonna go sky outside. And so the things that we do, you got to work this a little bit if you're gonna do it the way that we did it. Block this slot defender, that Sam backer, and then he's basically got the most danger. So if he rocks down, he's gonna crack that and take that guy. Leave the corner, and probably in most cases maybe not the best tackler, on the defense. So let him go. And plus, when he goes down, he's going to have to come over the top a little bit. And then you saw our little Z slot guy get it in his hands, and this guy's a little bit soft, and he's got to make the play. It's tough on him. Okay. This was Son, same thing, bring him inside. So now he's got to understand he's coming inside, so he's got him, he's got him. Okay, they're not going to do anything in this situation. They're just going to sit there. I mean, look at that. I mean, this is, Northern Iowa had just beat Iowa State. They're number 2 or number 3 in the country. Just beat Iowa State the week before, and man, That's really good stuff. We do a better job blocking that thing, but we still get 10. So just zone. Okay? You got a 13 zone with fly motion. It's coming from the left, so the O-line needs to know it could change in there, but we'll know through film a lot of times it's not going to happen with the box. People that mess with the box are not great against the run. Okay, so here you go. What do we got? We're 3 for 3 out there, and like I said, I think if you have equal numbers, you're good. As long as they're not down in there and pressing on us. If they are, we're going to try to run by them or run a shout route. The bubble slants. So pretty good deal. And all day long, we just kept throwing it to him.
How do you talk about the path and eyes for that guy?
On the fly, once he's a little deeper anyway, and once he crosses the center, the quarterback, then he would lose just a little bit of ground. Okay. Is that what you're talking about? Because he gains a little bit of depth. But the big thing is I don't want to see, it's hard for him, and you can practice it on the line, on the field, of when they come in there and they fly, they'll lose a little bit of ground, and you got to stay parallel to line of scrimmage. You can't be, a half moon, type arc, because the quarterback can't throw it. You're not going to be efficient with it unless he's got to stay on the same line. So you got to teach those guys, get them out on the field and make them do that and turn their head and stay on that line, and not go forward. And that's easier said than done, but we did a pretty good job with it. So now, and this was even 4 for 3 type deal, but they were so high. All we had to do was just block them, and it's a good run play. Okay, now we're bringing the safety inside on a Son into the box. Should be dang good if we just get this block here. We're real good.
Hey, Coach, what's your landmark for when you guys are snapping the football on the motion?
It was always about 3 yards outside the tackle, but it depends on who the guy is, how fast they are. So the quarterback is going to have to work. That's why we mesh that every single day. You know, so we put the strip out and go through all of our runs and our flies, and we're tossing it, and then we'll let them go on by. We'll ride it and throw them, but about 3 yards, and then adjust it as you go. So now you get this guy running real wide, kind of a latch type deal, and he's worrying about this. You hand it off, you end up with a decent run. But you make the defense have a plan. It's nothing for us. We work this stuff in the spring and all summer long, and it's not a big deal. But every defense has to come up with a plan of how they're going to play this thing. Okay. Now we get to. Now you got to make sure. But we would make a chain call. Basically a chain reaction where this guy would run across, we knew we were getting man, both of them would crack. So it's making them do stuff that they're not really comfortable in doing. Okay, so now this is we're going to get a backside throw. So we've talked about this already. If we had this guy sitting out there, we run inside zone. He's running the bubble, and he was blocking, and he had the Okie. So now you can see with this as the motion's happening. Watch what this guy's doing. He sees it out of the corner of his eye, and he sees this guy jump back inside. Now we're going to throw it. Same thing. Here's your problem. Our quarterback, Brady, had a beat on him, or he would just stand there flat-footed. He'd still throw it. Okay, now I got to go back here. So I got a little play action off of this, and all this is the H cross. Everybody calls it 95 Y cross. And we just run this with the motion because you end up getting it rocked this way. And if the safety comes over, you got one-on-one here. You can double move this guy. You could tag it with an out. You start, and I've got a route that I would call with this motion that had an out, because if they start bailing, if they're rocking safeties, what's the corner going to do? Corner's going to be up in there, and as soon as this ball's snapped, he's bailing. And so we're going to run a 12-yard out into his blind spot, and he can't defend that. So we got the 95 off on that action. Rocket strong. So now we're 1 to 2 to 3. Come on, baby. Okay, same thing. We ran a double move on this. He gave him the double move. They didn't go for it. He got off of it. He didn't like this. That was cloudy as heck. And then he's running the dig. And on our 95, our cross, we ran a dig. We ran a 16-yard dig in there, and instead a lot of people curl it, and we just basically worked it in. And I watching LSU, they run it the same way. And people are giving me grief because the original air raid people always ran a curl, and then they could change it. At Oklahoma State, we could game plan and go, okay, this week we're going to run an in rather than a curl. And I just like keeping it the same, not changing it up. Same thing. So now we gave this guy a landmark post. And a landmark post is he basically has 7 steps to decide if he wants to go outside or inside. And he can take any release he wants. So see what the adjustment, I don't know why they rock weak here, but they did. So if we didn't get this, then we're probably not getting this, and we want to go there because of the weak rotation.
Is your line not zone blocking on that? Are they a pass call? Or they have
No, this is actually a play action.
so they're pass pro?
Yeah, it's play action protection. It's pass pro, but it's aggressive. Because what I'm talking about is just how you use that to mess with people, you know. So we can run the RPOs, but now we're into the play action stuff. So you can see that you're getting the safety play into the field. Now they clouded the corner, and that ended up being wide open. And we had outs on both sides. And we had a dig, a little flat control. Then we did orbit motion on this. Same thing, and that's what I was talking about. You're getting singled up back there. So many times we're taking shots, make this guy nervous playing inside, and if we throw this thing on time, it's hard to defend. Okay, so now we're going to go 3x1 to 2x2. Same thing, got no adjustment. Okay, so same thing, 3x1 to 2x2, really efficient, 6.5 yards per attempt, not as good as 2x2 to 3x1, but when we did run the ball, we were better out of this formation of motion. Okay, sky the safety. Okay, you offset the back over here so you can read it. Nobody did anything. Okay, did orbit on this one. Still snapping it, though, on this side of the ball. Same push crack, everything's the same. It's just something different for the defense. And a lot of teams leave their will. They might get him just on the edge of the box, but he's still in there. So if we can get this thing blocked, it's a pretty good play. Still just zoning it. Okay, now they're trapping the corner. There's a beauty, just throw it on over the top. They wonder why we wanted to spit the ball out. You know, this is what happened. So we had to find a way to move the ball, and the way to move the ball was RPOs and perimeter throws. Okay, same thing. This was their game plan. Here he comes. They're gonna trigger this corner and trap it. Now you just go to the next dangerous. We had Shout actually on. He had the slant bubble, which was a good play. Okay, now they're going to run across or rock the safeties. All right, so here's something that I heard in the last presentation over there was you get down on the goal line, and now here this guy comes because they were running that little deal with the H and the receivers where they're blocking for him and throwing the flat. This is the same thing. So now he chases, so we just got to go. Just go. He messed around. You can't, if they're going to chase across there, your receiver just has to go. You got to take the corner with you. You can't do this because by then he's already seen the ball thrown. You got to get him to work inside so we have a chance to out leverage. This is on here because just get it in your playmaker's hands, and he makes you right. But the defense gambled, and it was the right thing for them, but we still scored. There it is, just another push crack. He's coming aggressively, and our receivers did a great job at Montana. Okay, and we would get this. Our defense would do anything in spring ball to try to game plan us every day. So we'd get a lot of latch. But you can't fit up the run when you're doing it. But they would just do it because they knew we were going to try to throw it, and he'd latch to this guy, but you can't fit up the run. And so this is kind of an idea. We saw it earlier where he sees the fly coming, and he's real wide. So that's what you're hoping to do is just mess with them enough where people are out of their gaps. All right, so then you get these guys aggressive, and you got your push crack. We'll go ahead and crack and go and run the wheel. See how aggressive he is? I mean, he is triggering. Through the wheel. So your quarterbacks will start getting a beat on this stuff, and you're going to have plays. You're going to know how they're going to adjust to it after a couple drives. And then you're going to be able to call the plays that you want to call to dick them if they're over aggressive on your fly bubble. Okay, and here's we're going to motion this way, okay? And if they rotate this way, then you need to get back to here. But we still had the landmark on to try to throw the deep ball. He didn't do a great job of reading this. So look where the safety is. All right, 1, 2. But he ended up getting the check down, which is he got fooled, and I don't know why. And he hung on it so long, then he came back to this, which is okay, but he should have got the in. Okay? So here's what you're getting. You need these plays like this that when they're over aggressive, now we can take them and run past them. Look at the safety. Safety's not able to help. He's too shallow. I think we could have thrown that thing. Okay, nobody moved. They just bounced backers. Okay, if the safety stays over here, go there to there. Should have had it. Went to his check down again. And then another thing, guys, when you run, and remember this, if you run that fly motion and run play action, nobody ever covers the fly after he flies. You can always come back to it, and that's something I spoke on this 3 or 4 years ago and how Mummy took it to wherever he was at the time. And he was like, it's crazy. Nobody ever covers it. All you got to do is just play action, look downfield, and throw it out to the fly guy. Okay, so now we've got some routes. You guys all have these routes. So when we do this, what are they going to do? They're going to spin this way. Okay, so now we're going to run a sail route with him. You got your flat, just the old sail where you got a go, you got an out, and then we had a flat route back in the days of 21 personnel with a tight end. It was a great route. But you can see now we're getting man to man. Look, they're messed up. He's coming down. There's nobody in the middle of the field. That was a really good play for us. It's a good route. They're not counting on it because what they think, you got to have that complement because we ran the cross with the H. So he'd come in here and he's just waiting for him to run that route. And then we get into his blind spot. It's a good compliment to the 95 cross is running the sail route with the fly motion. There's just a few things on here that I was going to show you. Now, one thing that you got to remember, if we're going to fly this way and run inside zone, the back has to be aware of, is this guy going to travel or rock back here? Because if he doesn't travel, he needs to be aware of him because they'll bring him, okay? And then we learned the hard way. He'll trigger, and this guy will just come off the edge, and he needs to pick him up, and there'll be things open, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good, and we know what we're doing now with it. Because you can't account for that guy. The O-line is accounting for these 6 guys. And we don't want, with a 4-down look, we don't want to push it all the way out to that guy. You either got to check it the other way, but it's hard. How do you check it with fly motion? You don't know. Once the fly goes, you don't know if he's going to stay or he's going to go. So your running back needs to have his eye on it. If the dude stays, he goes, runs his zone route and goes and blocks him, and we throw the thing. Okay? Because if this guy comes, who's helping here? Nobody. So he came off the edge. You got one-on-one, and you got great blocking, pass protection.
If the quarterback's eyes are to this side, how does he know to not get? Is he seeing that, I guess, as the?
Yeah, he sees it because as soon as he brings him, the dude stays. He knows he's got to throw it. So you can see this, they're rocking this way. Now we could take this. He didn't want to throw it, so he had this guy block. Okay, this is good. They're bringing Sam off the edge. Get it out. And this is just additional stuff. I'm going to show you that screen here when I get through. There's just different stuff that was decent. That's just another bubble. Okay, here's a really good play. Are we doing shout here? No, he went that backside. I got another route, that shout route with the seam. Okay, so you can see what's going on. They're rotating. He's playing off. Let's take that. That's a good one. Okay, now we're just running. We're keeping the seal. The tight end's going to seal back here, kind of. But see how aggressive he is? They're D coordinators all over this kid because we're throwing it, and he's got to be aggressive. Now let's just slip him. Okay. So this is the play that I'm talking. If you guys run the fly motion, get into, we call this our slot formation. We call it boundary slot, to put formation into the boundary with a slot to the field. Fly it and keep running inside zone. But then you can call it whatever you want. But it's just a seam by the H, and not very many people covered it. So you're still running that little shout route. As soon as this guy's going to come in there, he's going to make it look like he's cracking him. And as soon as they get on the same plane, he puts his feet in the ground. So right there, put your feet in the ground, because that guy will end up moving on. You don't want to cover yourself up. You want to be right on his plane, so when he leaves, you're open and you're not taking it farther down in. That little shuffle basically covers him up. So good, really good play. You can keep running it inside zone and just watch how they're covering it. And I just run this a couple times, and then I'd call the shout, which took him right down the seam. Here it is again. Safety staying way backside. Leverage there. The only guy that can cover it is him. And you can see it. Just run the inside zone with the seal a couple times and see how they're handling that. And if the safety's going outside, then the only guy is the inside backer that can cover it.
And Coach, how do you call that whole play there?
That would be just, we'd go boundary slot fly. Okay, we're going to go boundary slot fly, and then we would go zebra shout, and that gave us inside zone, and we ran a seam. So they were getting shout on the outside, and so we throw up the formation right away. So as soon as the play's done, they're doing this. They're doing this to tell everybody where to line up. Okay, and then he's going to tell him fly, and as he's doing this, he's telling the O-line what the run play is. So they're not telling them at the line of scrimmage.
So on the fly side, is the quarterback still moving across, or are you just calling inside the play?
Now, we would tell him it's fly, okay, and then we tell him to come. We're going to signal that. Is that what you're asking? Okay, yeah. When he's ready to go, he's going to bring him. Yeah, and now he's got to give him the we called it Detroit or Lion, depending on if it was coming from the right or the left. So we used to go really fast. We couldn't go fast at Texas State. It wasn't what they wanted to do. This is against SMU. They were really good. This is why we had our RPO, all this stuff, because it was hard for them to ID. We got to push it. We got to push these guys to there, and then we got to get on him. And then the quarterback's got to buy time. Got to buy time and hit him. It's good. This is App State. We ran crack and go on them. they ruled that he didn't catch it, we would have been up 21-14, middle of the third quarter. They were like 22. They had just beat the hell out of South Carolina the week before. See, now you can see what's going on, okay? Then we put our best one-on-one guy here and just go ahead and fly it. And I know we're going to get one-on-one, so we run 95 cross. We know we're going to get the go ball. He ends up underthrowing it. I don't know who was talking about that. Coach Gundy, you know, where the DB's running, he doesn't know where the ball's at.
Coach, do you ever pair your fly motion with mesh?
I didn't. No, the mesh route. I didn't do it with it because that guy was always our middle route because I run it the same way every single time, and the H and the X were meshing it, and our number one receiver to the field was running a 12-yard stem, and then the Z was running the dig over the middle of the field, and the running back had the spoke on the backside. So I couldn't figure out how to you know, I probably could have switched it with a running back or, you know, the route, and he ran the spoke or something. But that's a good idea. I mean, that's the whole deal, is do it however it works with your routes, because there's going to be some drop back stuff on here that we ran fly. Now here's a little boot. Going to run a naked boot back to the boundary. You get to fly, you know, get people moving this way, and then boot back to this way. Then we started running some GT. You get the fly motion. Read the inside backer. He goes, you take it. It ends up being a good play.
You ever run quarterback blast with that?
You can. I never did. I mean, the problem, 50% of the games in 3 years that I coached at Montana were with our backup or lower, you know, and it was just, I was terrified of getting anybody hurt, you know, and then we got our quarterback, our backup, our starter got knocked out the 6th game for the season, and then our backup was a tough kid, tough runner, wasn't a great thrower, so we had to start figuring out ways to, we ran a lot of quarterback draw and just did some stuff like this and just trying to find a way. All right, so this is a good one because he's, you know, these guys will start getting aggressive. They see fly, and these guys will be aggressive, you know, or this guy, and we just ran by him. Ended up underthrowing it and catching it. But you got to have that. You got to have that shot, you know, 3 or 4 shots that you're going to take off of this stuff, because this stuff's really good. If people try to, you know, zone you up, you know, and you're going to continue to get 7-8 yards, and then the head coach is going to scream at the D coordinator to get aggressive on the bubble, and then you got to have some shots to throw. So we just ran double posts, 5-stepper and a 7-step landmark. You can go either way, like we talked about. All right, so now this is the old Hank route that the West Coast used to run. So now we're using the fly motion because the tight end, we put the formation into the boundary. We're flooding the boundary. He's going to go run his sit. We go post curl. He's got the flat. He's got the flat. Rotation, reading it, you know, it's you'll be throwing this thing weak unless they stay too high. Here's another one, I think. Okay? Anytime we've got our back out and we get press, good chance we're going to be able to dump it to our back. We can't get off. You know, this is the issues that you get. Like, they got to pick first on the playground, you know. But this is the stuff that over time, these kids and Coach Kiffin talked about, they start losing their confidence because you can't, it's you know, in our first 3 games is this. So you got to find ways, and then we came up with a screen that I'm going to put on that it's like our left tackle couldn't block the end anyway, so we just said, all right, we'll screen it and not block him. And it ended up turning into something really good. So our right tackle is one of the most athletic guys. He should have been our center, but we put him at tackle. O-line coach wanted to do that because he was so athletic. And so we would try to run the screen always to him. And then as the season went on, we felt like we could run it to the other guy because that's the way he passed pro'd anyway. And didn't block him. So the soft shoulder. He was really good at the soft shoulder. But so what we ended up doing is we were running the mesh with the X on the shallow cross. We're meshing it, okay? And then the running back is running the spoke route out there. So if you have anything that you're going to run shallows by number 1 to the boundary, it doesn't even matter. You can run this screen because it looks exactly like a shallow. Okay, so what we end up doing, and I'd never done this, and maybe other people have, the tackle's going to get out. And the tackle has the first man outside the box. Okay, so the tackle's kicking out of there, and you got to make sure that the end is going to get up the field. You know, you can't get out of there too quick. But he's got either the corner or, say this guy dropped, whoever the slot defender is, and in this instance it would be the corner, that's who he's blocking. The X comes on the shallow cross and blocks the first inside backer. We messed that up a little bit in the season where the outside receiver would block the slot defender, you know, and we want him on the backer. So you end up getting this seal, and then the next guy that can get out is running the alley to take the other guy. And then sometimes we got the center and the guard out, depending on how it all worked out. And then he would just pick up trash back inside. Could be the play side backer coming over. But originally, you're going to see a couple clips. It was a one-man screen. We were cracking the backer, and the tackle was kicking out against 4-1 teams. It was good against Wyoming because when we went to trips, they would go 4-1, and it was perfect. Okay? So then the running back, when he releases, he just goes, and when he gets outside, it's about a 2 count. When he gets outside the tackle, the vertical plane of the tackle, he just does this. And it's kind of like the chip screen that the Patriots were running, where they chip and they turn around, but we make it look like we're just running the spoke on mesh. So he just goes like a son of a gun. He gets outside, boom, quarterback puts it on him, and now the running back is taking it right through here because you got this block and that block. Now you gotta get a dude that will shake him down and go in there and block that guy, you know, which we didn't always get. All right, here we go. So you're getting a 4-1, okay? See the right tackle gonna come out and get the corner, but we ended up with a 2-for-1. You know, and we've always had issues on a slow screen, the running back coming up in there, getting grabbed, running into people, not getting out. Quarterback can't see him. This thing was perfect. I don't know how many times we ran it. These were the best clips, but every time it wasn't good, it was self-inflicted. It wasn't because the defense stopped it. It was a quarterback, couldn't get it over the DN's hands, or we didn't get the crack. It's a foolproof thing, and this dude was so dang athletic. I mean, look. I mean, he can run. The NFL's looking at him as a fullback. The problem is he's faster than our running backs. Okay, here you go. This guy's got to be coming in there. Okay, and the neat thing is that trap corner, latch end, it can't stop this because the running back's deep enough, and then the tackle just goes flat and just traps him. How many times this stuff blow up your slow screen, all that stuff out there, and it ends up a mess. So this time, look how we get them all. I mean, it should be a pretty good play. So the quarterback, it's a 2 count. 1,001, 1,002. This thing's too simple, and it was so damn good. And this was good against really good competition. And they had better guys than us. So I mean, I think it's a good play. What's the problem with this? Him blocking him. He needs to go on inside and let the tackle go ahead and trap that so we can get in there. And we end up with the guard out. He's running the alley, pick up the corner, whatever. It's still a decent play, but it should have been better. Okay, end up kind of getting a 2-for-1 here. They trade it off. Okay, again, really good here. Get this guy blocked, go flat, trap it right there. Another good play. And we ran this both ways to the field of boundary, but to the single it was a little bit better, way better actually, because people try to overplay your trips.
When do you like to call that?
I liked it. I would call it on 3rd down, but I liked it on 1st and 2nd down. I mean, it was just like throwing mesh. I mean, we ran mesh all the time. We probably ran that 40 times this year, and it looks just like it because this guy's gonna mesh and he's running the spoke. It looks exactly like the pass.
Coach, I have a quick question. What if that backside safety is down outside the outside?
This guy, if it's a 4 down, he's going to be the guy that the tackle's just going to trap him. Yep. So the first guy outside the box is the tackles. Okay. The first guy inside the box is the receivers, and then the guard and center will run the alley and pick it up. Okay. We had a little wiggle. Holy cow. I mean, they're decent plays. They could have been way better. Because that latch always jacks up the screens. Now we got it, and get one of those guys to block somebody, it would have been a little bit better. Now this one, we went to 2 backs, tear motion with him, and then ran this, violate their eyes a little bit. And these are the type of things that over time you drill and drill and drill it, and you get these guys to get in there and get that block done, and that's why we need more time to instill some toughness. Now we did it boundary. I mean, you look at that. I mean, this is a good defense, Wyoming. I mean, that should be really good. He should kick him out. He should keep him blocked, and he should make that guy miss and score. Pretty good play. So that is the that one is this? Oh, this is a 2x2. So if you run 2x2, run to this way, and it's the exact same thing. He just runs out of there and blocks the deep guy. He shouldn't have blocked the slot defender. Block in here, kick him out. We got a pretty good play. Still decent. 8-9 yard gain. I think that's the only one that we had on there. So that was a top secret thing I wasn't going to share with anybody. But now I just want some people to have some success with it, because I don't know if I'm going to be doing it. So I want everybody to email me and tell me that running back screen was kicking for him. But I appreciate you guys coming out, because this has been great for me to get back, and I haven't been doing anything, but my dog and I are really close now for 2 months, and it was awesome to get out with football coaches and be around the game again, and because all I've been doing is watching cut-ups. I sit and watch cut-ups every single day, and then I walk my dog, and then I come back and watch more cut-ups, and so we'll be back. We'll land on our feet, and we'll be back in it, soon. But right now, I don't know where the heck I'm going to go. But when I land someplace, you guys come and see us wherever we're at, So I'm excited to get back at it. So any questions about any of this stuff? I hope I helped you, and you can put some of that stuff in, because the things that we talked about are hard for the defense, and it's easy for the offense to just put a fly motion or bubble or whatever. They have to have a plan, and especially the fly motion. That D coordinator is going to be pulling his hair out, having to figure out how he's going to rotate that. Then you in the box can see how they're rotating. Now I'm getting single coverage. You're going to get middle closed. I'm going to get single coverage someplace, and now you got to go after them and get your best player in that position. If you got to move him from the right to the left, get your best one-on-one guy and let him run by somebody, So, all right. Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend.